He is no fool who gives what he cannot keep, to gain what he cannot lose. Those were the words of Jim Elliot, an American Christian missionary and one of 5 people killed, during Operation Auca, an attempt to evangelize the Huaorani people of Ecuador. He was only 28. Elliot was the first of the 5 missionaries to lose his life, as he and Peter Fleming were approaching 2 of the Huaorani tribesmen in Ecuador. Elliot's body was discovered downstream, along with the bodies of the other men. Ed McCully's remains were found even farther downstream. Many said that the loss of the 5 young men's lives was a waste, but God's ways are not our ways. Those 5 missionaries were living sacrifices who had to be planted into the dark wet soil, in order for the next phase of the harvest to take place. Here's the story. In the early 1950s, Jim Elliot and his friends, including Nate Saint, Ed McCully, Pete Fleming, and Roger Youderian, were part of Operation Auca, a missionary endeavor aimed at reaching the Huaorani people in the jungles of Ecuador. The Huaorani, also known as the Wadani, were a violent and isolated tribe. Before making direct contact with the Huaorani, the missionaries conducted aerial reconnaissance using a small airplane piloted by Nate Saint. They established a friendly relationship by dropping gifts and communicating with the tribe, using a loudspeaker from the plane. The missionaries made efforts to build trust with the Huaorani by leaving gifts and making friendly gestures. They also dropped a basket down to the ground as a sign of peaceful intent. On January 3, 1956, the missionaries decided to make face-to-face contact with the Huaorani. They established a camp, named Palm Beach, along the Curare River. Initially, they had positive interactions, with members of the tribe visiting the camp, and even trading goods. On January 8, 1956, just 5 days later, the situation took a tragic turn. A group of Huaorani warriors attacked the missionaries at their camp, and all 5 men were speared to death. The exact reasons for the attack are not entirely clear, but it is believed that a misunderstanding or a breach of trust may have occurred. The news of the missionaries' deaths shocked the Christian community and the world. Instead of responding with anger or a desire for revenge, the widows of the slain missionaries, including Elizabeth Elliot, Rachel Saint, Nate Saint's sister, Mary Lou McCully, and Olive Fleming, chose to continue the mission to the Huaorani. In the years following the tragic event, Elizabeth Elliot and Rachel Saint, along with other missionaries, continued their work with the Huaorani. Eventually, many members of the tribe accepted Jesus Christ as their Savior and Lord. Jim Elliot's death was just the beginning of a mission work to spread the gospel to the Huaorani people. Elliot indeed gained what he could not lose. He was indeed no fool. He had God, and that is everything.